Hey y'all, long time no hearing from you. Looky here, Otis James here. Check this out. Look at that bolt. That's pretty cool. Harmonic balancer for the 350. Alright, whatever. Look, we got to put that on there. On the crank snout. End of the crank. Whatever you want to call it. Whatever. But something here I'm going to show you. Everybody's like, oh man, I bought me this tool. It's awesome. Puts that thing right on the motor. Almost does itself. Look y'all, got a welder, got some time. Here's what you got to do. This here is a piece of threaded rod. Can't buy a bolt long enough to do this, so you got to buy a threaded rod. It's alright. It's cheaper that way. You get like 3-foot piece of threaded rods, like $5. Couple nuts, some washers, and you got this thing down pat. Take your bolt, do some super cool welding stuff right on there. Wish it took longer, but it don't, because it's, you know, just a little spot. Just weld that in case you got to put a wrench on her. But we're going to take this piece and we're going to install it with that. So what we got to do, take your harmonic balancer on the outside here. Put a little grease on there. It's going to go through your seal. You don't want to cut your seal. Take that. Put your harmonic balancer on the engine. Whatever, y'all. Line it up. Put your keyway. Get her lined up on the keyway there. Now that I got it. Get it kind of wiggle a little bit. Smack with your hand. Ain't gonna go nowhere. So, take your trusty tool, your 7/16 by 20 thread threaded rod. Just turn that in. Make sure your bolt's cooled down from welding it in there. And then just turn that in as far as you can. You want as many threads contacting in there as you can. Then you got your washers here. These two washers. Alright, them two washers. Get big ones. Get some big old rounded washers. And then once you get those, put grease on both of them. Both sides, both faces. That way even the piece touching the harmonic balancer has some grease on it. Because you can clean that off later. And yeah, spin your nut around. Come on. Everybody likes playing with nuts. Come on. Turn that sucker down on there. And all you gotta do, sometimes you, on the end here, you might have to hold this with a wrench. Tighten it down here. But you want to just make sure, crank that sucker until you're all the way as far as you can go. I mean, it'll go on pretty smooth, pretty straight. Nice and smooth cranks. Get her on there. And then once you got her on there far enough, you'll know it. You'll feel it kind of tighten up. And then at that point, then you can go ahead and put your pulleys on the front, tighten them up, and then put your crank bolt in there in the center. Oh yeah. You just won't want to try and use your bolt to tighten it on there at all. You want to use something like this. But again, 7/16 rod, 20 thread. I went about 10 inches. Welded the nut on the end. Couple washers. You want to stack in washers, that way they slide over each other. Work almost like a crappy bearing if you had one up against there, so you don't tear up your face when you're cranking that nut. So that's what you got today, y'all. Go ahead, get some more motor working done, and get out and do some burnouts or something, man. All right, whatever. I'll see y'all later. Bye.